Hi, it's Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I needed to get ready for the day, so I'm just going to take a minute to put my face on. Thought we could chat while we did it. I'm going to start with some of this Power Grip Primer from e.l.f. I haven't used this in a long time, and it's funny. I know this is everybody's like favorite drugstore primer. I just think of last year's Super Bowl commercial with Jennifer Coolidge, and I don't know why it is I don't reach for it more. Uh, and maybe it's because it feels so sticky. I'm trying to get better about priming my skin. Oh, it's been a struggle. All right, there is something that I picked up recently, and I don't know how I feel about it yet, but it's this. This is the Dermatology Luminous Eye Corrector. This has SPF 41 in it, and you're getting like a 1/4 ounce here. So it definitely has like concealer vibes, but it's one of those where if you press down here, you get a little bit coming out. And if I do a full pump, it's way too much. So I'm gonna take a little bit here, and this is probably enough to do both my eyes because I don't want it to look heavy. I don't. This might even be too much, but let's see. I'm looking for something that if I just pat a little bit on, it kind of takes down that really intense look, and I don't always have to put something heavier on top. I mean, I'm gonna wear concealer today, but that's always my goal. One thing I'm not gonna do today is wear foundation. I'm just gonna throw on a little bit of the Givenchy Prismalibre concealer. This is the shade N95. I feel like this is an interesting match for my skin tone. Interesting match. I feel like it's a little bit darker, and I'm going to use it like foundation today. I feel like it's a little bit darker than the same shade in the Skincare and Glow foundation, but I feel like this looks really pretty on the face without having to use like too much. This kind of gives me tinted moisturizer vibes where it's sheared out, and I have kind of been liking that. I've been wearing a lot of the Lisa Eldridge skin tint. Now, somebody said something in the comment section. I was like, oh, maybe. And this is where I'm willing to admit that I'm biased. Somebody mentioned that they feel like every time Lisa releases something, it's not really that great. It's just all of the Lisa Eldridge fans come out and were like, this is the best thing ever. And I was like, is that me? There have been a couple of things that Lisa released that aren't my favorite. Like, I'm not a liquid lipstick person, so I have 2 of those liquid, the Velveteen lips. I almost never wear them. I never wear the lip gloss. That is not my, and for me, it's not the formula. I like the formula. It's the doe foot. The doe foot is just, I don't know, it's like almost circle shaped at the end. And maybe, I'm sure it's user error, but I always end up getting it outside of my vermilion border. And it's a gloss already. It doesn't need help going outside of my lip line. But it always does, and I don't like that, so I kind of don't use it. And what I should do is give it to one of my, I have a couple that I should just give to my kids. They would love a bougie lip gloss, and then we would use it. But I'll tell you, that is not a product that I go back and I repurchase. I'm a little torn on her eyeliner pencils because I really like the new Kit & Flick liquid liner, but I'll tell you the problem I had with the other ones is that they were marketed as setting down, the pencil liners were, and they never really set for me. And my goal, and I know I got kind of like a hard ask, but I'm wanting something to put in my upper waterline, and when I blink, it doesn't transfer to the lower. And she says you get about 40 seconds of play, and then once it dries, it doesn't budge. It's kind of like water resistant. She didn't say it was waterproof, so water resistant, smudge resistant, and that thing smudged all over. But I love the colors. I'm addicted to Renaissance Gold, and I use it more than I thought I would. I really like it, even though it is kind of like a problematic eyeliner for me. Because it doesn't wear the way I would want it to wear. Maybe I'm asking it to do something it doesn't actually have the capability of doing. And I remember a lot of people with that kind of complaint. You know, hey, you said it was going to set down and mine never set. Yeah, a little bit. All right, I'm going to go in this time, instead of with a brush, with a sponge, because I want a lighter kind of shearing out in certain areas, but I don't want it to look too heavy. The day that this is going up, it will be my father-in-law's birthday. And my in-laws moved to town about a year and a half ago. They've been living in Southern California. And it was so nice to have grandparents in town for the first time. My mom and dad live in Ohio. My parents' husband were in Southern California. So to have grandparents close enough to be able to come over for dinner, you know, most evenings, to pick up the kids from school before our teenager was driving, it was just a way for the kids to finally feel like, oh, look, I have grandparents. We were always connecting over FaceTime or phone calls or things like that, or holidays, and it really is not the same. And I really like having grandparents in town. I feel like this is just enough coverage and not too much. I'm gonna throw on a little bit of the Givenchy powder. I have a full size of this coming up. This is the tiny one. If you're only looking to set like under eyes and stuff, this is the perfect size. It's a little bit more expensive price per ounce to get the mini, but if you know you don't use a lot of powder, this is one of the prettiest, best powders I've used in a long time. And I know that I feel like it's really popular right now, but this powder's been around for a while. It's not like new on the market. But I don't know why I had never tried it. I really like the way this powder looks. It's really beautiful. You know what's interesting to me is that for the longest time, I never really would shell out for luxury products like this, or I would get like a tiny one. And then when I finished it up, oh, I don't want to pay that much again. Something has happened. And I don't know whether it's my skin changing because I'm getting older, or whether it's a case of, guess what? You're willing to try stuff you've never tried before, and the next level is luxury. But I had the hardest time shelling out for like really bougie. I was never by Chanel or Dior in my 20s and 30s. I just didn't do it. It was too much. Maybe a lipstick, because lipstick is my weakness. But I have never tried a Chanel foundation. I don't know how that is. I also have never tried a Dior foundation. I have a Dior concealer, but do you see what I'm saying? I think that's kind of interesting. I had a lot of Laura Mercier. I had some Urban Decay, a lot of Estee Lauder, and a lot of people will chuck Estee Lauder into luxury. I don't know. I don't know. To me, that's solidly, I know that kind of like Estee Lauder and Lancome are both kind of considered luxury because they have some very expensive products. It's mostly their skincare that is like wildly expensive, but I feel like the rest of their face products, like their foundations, concealers, they kind of run mid-range. But if you're looking for that really expensive rose stem cell face cream, you're gonna be paying 200 plus bucks for it. I feel like now I am willing to try more luxury things, and I'm trying less drugstore stuff. I don't know whether that's a season that I'm in, because I feel like drugstore sometimes misses the opportunity to create things for mature skin. There are some, like L'Oreal has their Age Perfect line. What is the one from CoverGirl? But those CoverGirl ones that come in their kind of purple packaging that are made for mature skin, those never look good on me. I always look, I'm not good. All right, I'm gonna throw on some bright blush. This is what I've been kind of craving, is more color here. So this is a Beauty Pie. Look at that. Woo, it's a lot of look. This is the shade Blazed Apple. It's their cream blush. And I'm gonna take some on a brush. I pounced it off on the back of my hand. I don't want like a ton. I want some color and some brightness, but I kind of would rather it be a little bit more kind of watercolory than straight up, maybe I've already crossed the line, I don't know, than straight up orangey orange. But this was one of my favorite shades last summer, and I've kind of been craving more color, and this is a great way to do it. So at this point, you can definitely tell I have too much on. So I'm just gonna kind of go over the edges with this sponge. It's a damp sponge, and try and blend a little bit more. So I don't know whether I'm trying the wrong things at the drugstore, but I just really feel like luxury beauty is really pulling me in. And part of it is the experience of luxury beauty, because it's very, packaging is beautiful. The marketing photos are stunning. Like you can see that they spent money on it, you know? And I feel like I want to see more of that from the drugstore. So when I'm thinking about drugstore things, I want things that are going to sit well on my more mature skin because of my lines here, or things that aren't going to, like a foundation's not going to like go straight and settle into my nose lines or my nasal labial folds. I do not want that, or in my forehead right here. But I feel like luxury brands do better, and maybe it's because they're making most of it. If it's gonna look good on mature skin, it's probably gonna look good on any skin. And I really feel like at the price point, it's usually older people who are purchasing luxury beauty because there's more expendable income. You know, when you're in your 20s and raising kids, like sometimes it's like we need diapers and we need groceries more than I need, you know, a fancy foundation. But I really feel like I'm at that point now where kids are still expensive, but because of the beauty budget that I get, I have been dipping my toe more into luxury beauty, and that has been interesting. But I would love to know, do you use a lot of luxury beauty? And if you do, what are your instant go-tos, like your must-haves? So far, I've liked the Givenchy products that I've tried. Those are really nice. And I caved and I bought the Prada foundation during the sale. It's a $70 foundation, so I'm saving $14 on it. So making it a $56 foundation definitely feels more within my comfort zone for pricing, but it's still a very expensive foundation. But prices are going up for all types of makeup. I need some eyebrows. I need some eyebrows like crazy. So I'm gonna throw on a little bit of the e.l.f. And this is the thing, you know, I'll use something really expensive like Givenchy, and then my $5 e.l.f. product here. This is the Wow Brow. I love this. This is one of my favorite brow products, and I like how affordable it is. So it's a tinted fiber gel, and as you can see, I'm kind of back combing my hairs here, and this lays like tint and fiber on both sides of the eyebrow hair. If I were only to go kind of one direction, I don't get as voluminous and fluffy a brow as I would like, because I feel like I have more hair to right about the middle, and then all the rest of the way out, it's kind of like, nope. It's a really lovely day today where I live. Sunny, much warmer. I can't tell you how grateful I am for the warmer weather and the sunshine. Like, okay, so I have been dealing with some depression. Part of it was seasonal depression. Part of it was just like, I've been in a lot of pain, and I don't know when or if I'm going to get relief from that pain, even though I'm seeing a pain doctor, I'm seeing a neurosurgeon, I'm seeing a neuro-ophthalmologist, a headache specialist, as well as like my other two doctors. I see an endocrinologist in my local primary care. My primary care told me to do something. He's like, I like to tell patients, he goes, and sometimes I do this myself if I'm feeling a little bit out of it. Open up your kind of radar app on your phone and see where the sun is. And if the sun is 40 minutes away, drive out that way and just get a cup of coffee and sit in the sun. Or if you have to go grocery shopping, go shopping in a place where there's sunshine. So on the way there and on the way back, you get your dose of vitamin D for the day. I was like, oh, that's a great idea. He says, I want you to chase the sunshine. So I've been spending more time doing that, and that has really been helping. But my kids love going with me. So we'll do it on the weekends a lot. Or now that there's a lot more sun where I live, I feel like we're definitely getting to, you know, spring. And yeah, it's been rainy, it's been gray, but it's not as bad as it was in February. Like January and February, I was like, are we gonna survive this winter? And that happens every January and February, unless it's a weird year and it's sunny all, you know, late winter. But dude, it was hard there for a while. So my kids love, we normally would go and get like either like a treat, that's what I call it, but you know, maybe a small French fry, or we'd get a soda, and then we'd go for a drive, and we'd chat and we'd laugh and we'd listen to music and we'd catch up on what's been going on. And I love spending time with my kids, and it'd be just the three of us, me and them. And but I realized we can't always associate these, you know, chit chat moments with a cup of coffee, because yeah, there's a lot of sugar in coffee, there's a lot of calories, empty calories. And I was thinking, oh, what can we do that would be fun that would not be empty calories? I haven't quite figured that out. So if you have any ideas, let me know. Okay, I'm gonna let my brows dry. I am planning on putting in some of this I've been loving this CoverGirl pencil so much. But let's get some eyeshadow on. Here is something that I bought during the Black Friday sales, and I've only used a handful of times. And I think it's because I'm not used to the formula and I was expecting something different. And this Ambiance palette from Sigma is pretty and it's warm, and I thought it would go with kind of like my warmer blush today. But for me, what was interesting is although people say how much they love the Sigma formula, I didn't realize that although the shades are really metallic, they feel really dry. I'm used to products feeling more like the Sydney Grace. I have so much Sydney Grace, and theirs feel creamy and emollient and kind of buttery. And these feel really dry. And it's just a different formula, but they're beautiful. I'm gonna throw a little eyeshadow primer on. I kind of feel like, wait, who am I? I'm using eyeshadow primer. I'm using face primer today. Like, dude, who am I? All right, I might have overdone my brows. I feel like I've been doing that a lot recently, and I'm like, it is not 2016. You do not need to block out your brows. All right, I'm gonna struggle with that for a little bit. I'm trying to think of where to start with these colors because the only one that's really light is kind of this one here, and this one's really close to my skin tone, so maybe we'll start with that. Throw a little bit of that like right here in the crease. It's actually a little bit darker than my skin tone. My daughter texted me this morning, cracked me up. My 14-year-old does not have a phone, but my 16-year-old does. And we'd been hearing about, yesterday, they're like, oh, guess what, Mom? It's the golf tournament tomorrow. My daughter is on her high school's golf team. Now, I don't know where that came from because I don't play golf. My husband doesn't play golf. My dad used to play golf, but not in my children's lifetime. And yeah, my brother knows how, but he hasn't played in years. Like, busy with work, busy with kids. Like, there's not really time for that. And I don't know where this came from, but I think it was because some of her best friends are in there. And somebody who was a really good friend last year and his boyfriend this year is also on the golf team. So her bestie is on there and boyfriend is on there, and that might be what it is. But they were supposed to have a golf tournament today. And this is her second year on the golf team. And this year, she's not just on the junior varsity team, she's on the varsity team, even though she's only a sophomore. And I'm like, how are you so good at this? You didn't grow up doing this. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They had to drive an hour and a half away for a golf tournament. And they had to leave this morning at like 10:30. And as they got there, they're like, something's up because there are trucks hauling away dirt. And the people at the clubhouse know nothing about us supposed to be here, and there's no other schools here. And I was like, oh no. I think that one of the coaches got the dates mixed up, and it's Thursday and not Tuesday. So she was kind of like, I was like, sweetheart, I'm sorry. She was kind of frustrated that she missed school. And she was like, man, I'm gonna get behind in chemistry. I was supposed to have a Spanish 2 test today. Like, she was worried about her math and her science. And I'm like, it's okay, your teachers. I mean, it was an excused absence anyway because you were on, the golf team. But she's like, yeah, but I can't believe they got the dates wrong. And I said, well, sweetheart, everybody's human. We all make mistakes. I said, just enjoy the sunshine ride back. And they have these large 16 or 20 passenger vans. They're called transporters. And that's what when they don't need like the big giant school bus, instead of taking like a small school bus, they'll take one of the transporters. And I said, those have huge windows in them. I said, hang out with your friends. You get some uninterrupted time with your boyfriend. I said, stop by, get some snacks somewhere, and enjoy the ride home and enjoy the sunshine. She's like, I know, but I'm just thinking about it. It was a whole lost day, and then I have to go again on Thursday. I'm like, more time in the sunshine. Oh no. Anyway, I thought it was really interesting, and it's been a long time since there's been kind of like a snafu like that. One of the coaches who does most of the scheduling is not a regular teacher. It's not like he's the PE teacher. The PE teacher is on there, but they always bring one more person in who specializes in golf to help the kids with that sport. They go to a smaller school, and so they always bring somebody in from the community who they hire, adjunct or whatever for the season. Anyway, so I think it was that other coach who was kind of scheduling things and might have gotten things messed up because the whole team left today. And they got there and they were like, oh no. It was kind of funny. My pain has been flaring up a lot. I've had some people ask me how I was doing, and I'm still not 100%. But if I'm sitting still, I'm fine. The minute I'm standing or walking, I was at the grocery store yesterday with my 14-year-old, and Lily was like, "Hey, Mom, let's," and running, pushing the cart, and I'm like behind, hobbling, kind of pressing on my stomach in a place where it always hurts when I breathe. And Lily was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm hurting a lot today, babes." And I just wish, it's been since August that I've had this abdominal pain, and it some days are worse than others, but when it gets really bad, and it's been really bad for like the last 10 days. And then one of the new medications my doctor has me on is keeping me up at night, so I'm not sleeping. I don't fall asleep until like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then I'll sleep until like 9. So I'm not getting a ton of sleep, and I used to get a lot more sleep. Man, it's been rough. So I've been very much like, I don't want to do anything. And while I'm up late at night, I plug my earbuds into the remote for our Roku so that nobody else has to hear it, but I can still watch a show until I'm like, okay, oh, I'm falling asleep, time to go to bed. So I started watching a show that I tried when it first came out. It's called The Resident. I'm watching it on Netflix. There's 6 seasons of it. I tend to like medical dramas, but I think it's because, one, both my parents were in healthcare. My dad still works. He's a pain doctor, so he works at a pain clinic. My mom's a retired registered nurse. All of my family on both sides, my uncles, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, all surgeons. My dad's the odd one out doing anesthesia and pain. And on my mom's side, there's so many nurses or nurse practitioners. Oh my goodness, there's healthcare all throughout my family. So I think I watch it because I remember what it was like sitting in the hospital when I was waiting for my mom to finish. A friend would drop us off because it was raining, and we couldn't walk home in the rain. And so they would drop us off at the hospital, and we'd wait in the nurse's station until my mom was done with her shift, and then we'd all go home. So I remember, and then I was volunteer at the hospital during the summers as a candy striper, and going to see my dad when he was on call, and I have got about an hour between surgeries. Well, let's bring you dinner. So we would all go and eat dinner at the hospital with my dad. Like, I spent a lot of time in hospitals. And then on top of that, my own experience personally, having been in the hospital so many times. I've had 16 surgeries, and I've been hospitalized 11 or 12 times. Yeah, that sounds about right. Anyway, so I'm watching this show, and I've always loved Grey's Anatomy, but I've not always loved all of the medical dramas. But this one, I don't know, it's really good. And it has some of my favorite actors. Like, if you ever watched Gilmore Girls, like Rory's college boyfriend, Logan, Matt Zuckery, he's on there. And I'm like, oh, look, I know you. Anyway, it's really fun. I have really been enjoying it. But the weird thing was, I was watching stuff late last night. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm just gonna tap on a little bit of this kind of darker color here. I was watching late last night, and there were 2 episodes that I was watching. And one of them, they had a patient who had a Chiari malformation. Do you know how rare it is to have a Chiari malformation? It's like less than 1% of 1%. It's very minor. It's very understudied because not many people have it. I have one. I've had surgery for it twice, 3 times. And the next episode, somebody comes in with hydrocephalus, and they have to have a ventricular peritoneal shunt placed, which I've also had surgery for 3 times. And I have a device implanted here. So I was like, ooh, weird. And then as I'm watching them, I don't know what it's like in the OR because I'm asleep. So I have no idea. I know what it looks like. It looks very realistic. All the, apparatus in there, all the scrub nurses, the doctor, the anesthesiologist, everybody's there. And then they give you the drugs and you pass out. Anyway, so I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, wow. Ooh. And I know it's not real because they're actors, but I was like, whoa. And it kind of made me go, should I look for one of these surgeries on YouTube and see if there's like surgeons who post stuff? And I was like, no, maybe that'd be too much. But I had that moment of like, oh my goodness, look, they're talking about kind of rare things that I deal with. It was weird. I was talking to my doctor about, why my meds are keeping me up. Part of it is, it's kind of like one of the medications that I'm taking, it's kind of rare that it makes people drowsy, but occasionally it can make people like insomniacs. And I was like, no, I've always had no problem falling asleep. I've always been like the first one, like we're on the road between, you know, here and 15 minutes from here, and I'm like out in the car. I could lay my head down in bed and 5 minutes later be totally asleep. So I've never had problems falling asleep or sleeping for long times. Like I can sleep for 12 hours straight. If I have nowhere to be and I don't set an alarm and I just wait until my body wakes up, I'm a great sleeper. So the fact that in the last like 2 weeks, I have not been able to fall asleep. I got 4.5 hours last night. So part of me was like, I really don't want to record a video. I just want to sit in my chair and watch The Resident. It's like, no, you gotta, you gotta get it together. Go put your face on. You will feel better. So I'm putting on some of the M Cosmetics Illustrative Liner in brown. I love this liner. And then I'm going to put on some of the Persona 24-hour waterproof in my waterline in the shade Graphite. It's such a pretty shade. And then I'm going to throw on some of the Lisa Eldridge Kitten Lash Mascara. I have been liking that mascara so much. I'm trying really hard not to have too many backups of things. And I tend to, especially during like the Sephora sale or like holiday time, I'll pick up if there's like a 2 set of my favorite mascara, you know, and it makes it kind of like half off. Or if I can get it, you know, during what used to be the 21 days of Ulta for half off, like I always buy it then. I've been in love with the Lancome Mishap Big for 7 years now. Yeah, it was 2017 when it came out. And I have been using it ever since. Like, it's not the only thing I use, obviously, but I really, really, really like it. And my daughter came to me and she's like, I'm kind of short on cash. I buy the kids whatever makeup they need, but the stuff that they go through regularly, like mascara or concealer, I make them save their allowance or their dog sitting money to go and get that. And my oldest, Ava, was like, Mom, I'm out of mascara. And she loves the Maybelline Sky High in the waterproof. It's her favorite. She loves it so much. She goes, I don't have the money for a new mascara and I'm out. And I said, well, you know the rule, but to tide you over, I can give you one of the ones. I have a whole like canister full of unopened mascara. She's like, oh yeah, that'd be great. So I give her a Lancome Mishap Big, which is my favorite mascara, and her lashes are longer and they do have a natural curl to them. And she's got pretty great lashes, and you put mascara on her and she looks amazing. Mine are short, mine are stumpy, mine are uneven, mine point downwards. And as she was, I asked her, hey, how do you like the mascara? She's like, oh, I don't like it, Mom. And I was like, what? It's a $30 mascara. She's like, really? I wouldn't pay $30 for this. And I was like, break my heart, child. I have really been liking the new Lisa Eldridge lip liners. I think what I like about this is that these don't set the same way that the Enhance and Define ones do. These Sculpt and Shade ones are creamier, and they do provide like control and border for any product you put in there, but it ends up not being quite as bulletproof, smudge proof, and dries down the same way the other formula does. But I love the other formula, especially in a red or in a pink when I need it to like be bulletproof. But these have been so great just for like a little bit of definition here, a little bit of definition there, and then putting something light over the top. One of my kids discovered my Clarins lip oil and chocolate. They're like, Mom, this is the best lip oil. Oh, it feels so good. They're like, I want one of these. I was like, oh, well, it's $30. What? They about lost it. Give my hair a little zhuzh. Oh, the hair is gonna get away from me today, I can tell. Sorry I was bringing so much chaos energy today. I feel like, you know, Agent of Chaos has arrived. I think that's mostly part to the fact that I have not been sleeping well. I got 4.5 hours sleep last night, and you know, my pain level has been increasing over the last couple of weeks, and it could be just that I'm not resting. My body doesn't have that time to recoup. So yeah, I feel like I was really scattered today talking about totally random things, but that's where I'm at right now. So thank you for listening to me. If you have any thoughts about anything I said, let me know in the comment section down below. But I also really want to know, Are you a diehard luxury beauty person? And it doesn't have to be makeup. It could be skincare, body care, hair care, like anything else like that. Do you really love like one thing that you're dedicated to that you will always buy because it's your favorite thing and to you it's worth it? I feel like most of the luxury beauty that I have tends to be makeup, and it does work really well for me, the majority of it. And then there's a couple of ones where I'm like, uh-oh, like that missed the mark. And maybe it's a great product, but it's not meant for me the way I wear makeup. But let me know, what are your like ride or die for luxury things? I think this is kind of like my new one where I will always buy this powder. I can't imagine a time that I wouldn't buy this powder. So let me know about luxury beauty in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching today. Have an incredible day, and I will see you again soon.